everyone. Welcome to Meet an Entrepreneur. Today I have Tinashe here. He's going to introduce himself. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me over here. I'm Tinashe Mahupete. I am a Zimbabwean guy that moved to the United States in 2000 and have been building a business over the last couple of years. It's been pretty exciting through the whole journey. So, yeah, thank you for having me over here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you. What kind of business are you building?
So the business that I'm building is a people development type of system. So it's based on succession planning at all levels of an organization. Many businesses go into chaos when they're trying to figure out how to transition. They have individuals who are in leadership roles. They have people and systems in place, but they have people who have been antiquated and maybe stuck in those positions where they're not able to figure out how to transition and propel the business through different levels because they don't have the leadership to help new leaders emerge. So the business is pretty much succession planning at all levels of the organization.
Seems to me like you did a deep research about this. Can you please tell us about that path or experience?
So my own experience has been since I came to the United States in 2000. I've worked for a company by the name of QLI, and within my journey at QLI, I had people who invested in my success. I started as an entry level team member, and since then grew and had different roles. And now I am the vice president of residential services at QLI, a company with 400 people. And every single time that we look at a person that's coming in, we look at them and say, this person, look at them as the next CEO. And so how are you looking at that person and figuring out the best and tapping their talent and making sure that you help them be the best that they can be. And so the passion for developing people is something that I developed because it was afforded to me, and it's something that I have always wanted to give back to other individuals.
This is something, it's very unique. Congratulations on doing this. Did you work with the organization on the project?
I have been given full reign by the leadership at QLI to help develop the system within QLI so that we can help coach individuals at QLI. And with that, it's something that we have beta tested there, and it's something that we have found to be successful, and we're looking at least I'm looking at expanding it to other organizations. I've got a few clients that I've procured over the last couple of years that we are now working with one-on-one across the country.
What's your background?
My background. I went to school for environmental sciences, so nothing to do with any kind of business school. But again, the leadership at QLI and the way that I was surrounded by other talented people who invested in my success and showed me and taught me things, real world situation, real world scenarios, and real world environment. I was able to grow, and they took what they saw as talent and nurtured me through the passage of time.
So, wow, this is the type of organizations that we would like to work for, an organization that is able to grow with the talent that they recruit. It's very amazing that we have this actually here in the Midwest.
It is. It is. When I first leaving Zimbabwe, and I wrote this about in my book. I left Zimbabwe, and people across that I'd heard. I was still not in the workforce age yet, but just had heard a lot of grumblings on you just go to work and you come back home and you do what you need to do to put food on the table. Then coming to the United States, this was my first job. And I thought, wow, America is quite different. And it wasn't until I started associating with people across, other spectrums and other industries and businesses that I understood that the problem was not a Zimbabwe thing. The problem is across the world, when it comes to not treating individuals as when you treat people as a unit that's in there to just, do a certain job versus as a member of your team, as an asset. is challenging. And just my experience was QLI was very different, and it wasn't a Zimbabwe thing that I'd experienced, in Zimbabwe, or I'd heard of in Zimbabwe. It's a global problem when it comes to taking individuals and just having them do a certain job versus treating them as members of an organization.
Again, this is amazing. I like your organization. So you mentioned there is a software piece of it, of the project, and then there is the coaching side. Can
Right.
you please elaborate and tell us what the difference is?
So Dreamcatcher is the program.
I have the book here about to when is the release date?
In the next 30 days. So
Okay.
my birthday is August 8th, so I'm thinking hopefully around then that would be a good birthday gift to myself.
So this is the book Dreamcatcher and a passion for people development by Tinashe Mahupete. So in the next 30 days, we will let you know when it's out.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
so you were talking about the Dreamcatcher.
So the program itself is about creating a vision. Anyone who wants to go somewhere, has to have a particular vision. So it's about creating a vision and executing that vision. And then the biggest problem that we see with anyone is about, and we hear this every single time. I want to lose weight. I want to, go into the gym, and gyms are packed the first, of January until maybe March 1st. And then after that, they're running, 2 months free, 3 months free. It's not because people are lazy. It's because there's new habits that have to be attained, and so sustaining something is very, very difficult, especially when it's a new habit. So the program is about creating a vision, executing, and sustaining. And it uses some very key concepts that you can help yourself create that vision, execute, and sustain. And so that's what the program goes through, and I can go through the details of that if you care to.
Yeah, please do so.
Certainly, I'd love it. Definitely. And then the application that we're building around it is more or less a tool that will help businesses manage and track the progress of individuals when they're building their own journey through the process. So that vision, execution, and sustaining is tracked, and there's means of holding people accountable through that process and helping them be successful. So the program itself, when I say that it's vision, execution, and sustaining, you need key concepts that we call elements. There's 6 elements, just like a balanced diet has elements within it, when you're talking about what you're putting in your body. And so there's 6 elements. The first one is about how authentic are you. Always be true to yourself. I think that's one of the key elements that we help individuals with, because when you can be true to yourself, you can understand who you are in the world and where you truly want to get to. And so there's this concept and notion of fake it till you make it. We talk about the idea of face it till you make it. Face the challenges that you have and be authentic. And so the next thing that somebody needs for them to have a compelling vision, execute, and sustain is the idea of bandwidth. As much as I want to do something, sometimes it could be challenging because there's so many things in my life. We all have a fixed amount of time, and so if I have so many things that I want to get in my life, but I cannot put forth the efforts to get through to attaining what I want to, it's going to be challenging. So bandwidth is very important. So the next piece is this piece that we call curiosity, the idea of learning. To be able to create a vision, you have to learn what's out there in the world. To be able to execute, you have to learn how you should execute. To be able to sustain, you have to continue to be a learner. And so we always talk about what are you putting in your mind, because that's all you can put out. So how are we encouraging people? We are always encouraging people to learn. So far we've talked about authenticity, bandwidth, and curiosity. There's 3 more elements that are important.
I'll let them discover that by buying the book, if you don't mind.
Certainly.
It's very interesting, and I like the idea. I like the project. It's well needed in this community and any other community. Thank you so much for coming up with the project.
Thank you very much.
So, what next after the book is out?
Well, I'm planning on hopefully going on a book tour. We're hoping to get the word out not only in our community, but definitely starting within our community, whether it's the Midwest. I have people around the world who are interested, because I'm from Zimbabwe, and so I have people who are in different pockets who are interested in figuring out how they can adopt the principles and put them in their own organizations and businesses. And so that's something that I'm excited. I've got a couple of people that I've networked with who are in. I've got a dentist who works in Dalton, Georgia. I've got an insurance agent who is in Texas, and a couple of people in England, a brother in South Africa. So hopefully those pockets will keep us busy. But definitely, I hope to add value to people's lives and, develop individuals.
Absolutely. Wow, I like where this is going. As an entrepreneur, because you are an entrepreneur, who are your competitors?
Who are the competitors?
Yes.
I hope I'm going into a niche market when it comes to the idea, because there's going to be people who have management software, but if you're truly looking for a company that's an organization that is going to be invested deeply into your people by creating that vision, executing and sustaining, I feel like it's a unique part. I know you opened up by saying we don't have something like this. It's not because it doesn't exist. It's probably because it hasn't been done well. And the concepts truly that that we have in that book and that we surround ourselves with, they're not unique. It's something that's very, very simple, and it's when it's put together, that's what makes it unique. And so I think from the competitor side of things. I'm not really quite concerned, because I feel that we should march to the beat of our own drum, and so I'm going into that market and saying, this is something that is unique. I'm not concerned about what others are doing. Yeah.
Any last words? Anything you want to share with us?
Well, the website is up, and I think we're going to have some things that will continue to give people out so that we can continue to add value to people's lives. It's www.idreamidare.com, and so that's something that we have. However, I think when it comes to attaining something in people's life, I always think people hold themselves back a lot of times. And like the great Marcus Garvey said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. And I think that's something that I've always been at least motivated by and inspired by, to know that I am the master of my own destiny, and I definitely have a lot of people that can help me get to where I'm going. However, it starts with myself. And so if that could be some last words, that could be it.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with us. Thank you for watching. This was Meet an Entrepreneur. Bye-bye.